All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going deep into the world of AI in gaming. We've got some really cool articles and research from Global and Medium, and we're going to unpack how AI is like completely changing how we play and experience games. And you know what? This isn't just for like the hardcore gamers out there. Even if you haven't touched a controller in years, the stuff we're talking about today is mind-blowing.
Oh, absolutely. It's really reshaping the entire entertainment landscape.
Okay, so to really get what's happening now, let's go back in time for a sec. You remember those ghosts in Pac-Man, right? Chasing you around? Well, believe it or not, that was like early AI in game.
It was. I mean, they were simple, right? Just basic rules for how they moved. But it was huge at the time. Those rules made the game feel interactive.
Totally. So those simple beginnings basically set the stage for everything we see today. Like, think about Space Invaders or even Double Dragon. Suddenly, enemies were moving in formations, blocking, even attacking.
Yeah. That was rule-based AI, and it was a huge step. Opponents could react to you, which made the gameplay way more engaging, way more challenging. It really laid the groundwork for games like FEAR.
FEAR, man, that game was something else. I felt like I was constantly being outsmarted by the enemies.
Oh, yeah, the AI in FEAR was a big jump. It was adaptive AI, so the enemies actually learned from how you played. They would flank you, use the environment. Every encounter felt unpredictable. You really had to think strategically to survive.
That's a perfect example of AI, like
Yeah.
actually mimicking how humans think. And now with machine learning and deep learning, things have gotten even crazier. AI can process so much data and make decisions that would have been impossible a few years ago.
Totally. Just look at DeepMind's AlphaStar and StarCraft 2. That AI learned to play StarCraft at a pro level,
Hmm.
and it actually beat some of the top human players.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. It's insane that AI can master a game as complex as StarCraft. All the strategy, the split-second decisions. What are the implications of that, you think?
It's huge. AlphaStar winning wasn't just about winning the game. It showed that AI can handle like really complex strategy at a level we never thought possible. Think about what that means for the future of strategy games.
It makes you wonder what the limits of AI in gaming really are. And it's not just strategy games either, right? Even action games like Dark Souls or Sekiro, they use AI to make combat feel more challenging and nuanced, right?
Absolutely. In those games, the AI is designed to learn your moves, your timing. It forces you to adapt and get better. It's not just button mashing anymore. It's almost like you're playing against another human.
That's such an interesting point. It seems like the lines between player and AI are going to keep blurring as tech gets better.
Oh yeah, definitely. But what's really cool is that AI isn't just about making enemies tougher. It's changing the stories we experience and the worlds we explore in games. Think about the conversations you can have in games like The Witcher 3 or Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah. The dialogue in those games is on a whole other level, way more natural and engaging than those old dialogue trees.
Yeah.
How did AI change that?
It's conversational AI. Games are moving beyond those pre-written responses. They're creating systems where NPCs can react to a wider range of things you say. They can even remember past conversations, express emotions. It feels like a real conversation.
Wow, that must really change things when it comes to creating believable worlds. It's not just the words either, it's how the NPCs behave, right? That
hmm
really makes a world feel alive.
Exactly. It's all in the details. Look at Skyrim, for example. The NPCs all have their own schedules, their own routines. They have personalities. You might walk into a tavern and they're arguing or having a drink. That makes the game world feel so much more alive and unpredictable.
It's like you're stepping into a real breathing world. Which brings us to one of the most revolutionary things AI is doing in games, procedural content generation, or PCG for short. It's crazy to think that AI can now create entire worlds, quests, items. It means no two playthroughs are ever the same.
PCG is a game changer, no doubt. Look at the scale of games like No Man's Sky or Minecraft. Huge, constantly changing universes. And it's all thanks to algorithms. The devs didn't have to handcraft every single thing in those worlds. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I read that article you shared about No Man's Sky, the idea of a procedurally generated universe. It completely blew my mind. It shows how AI can just expand what a game can be. It's like having an infinite playground.
You got it. And PCG isn't just for worlds either. It can generate loot, quests, even enemy encounters, making everything unpredictable. Think about Diablo or Borderlands, for example. The loot in those games keeps you coming back for more.
So basically, AI is giving devs a toolbox to create really dynamic and replayable experiences. Speaking of tools, let's talk about how AI is changing game development itself. I'm curious, how is AI impacting the way games are made behind the scenes?
It's super interesting. Imagine game designers using AI as like a creative partner, a tool to help them come up with ideas, test things out, push the boundaries of their imagination. That's the potential we're talking about.
So AI isn't just changing the games, it's changing how they're made.
Exactly. Game development takes a lot of time and effort, and AI can make things more efficient. For example, AI could automate stuff like creating levels, putting objects in the world, even making music.
So instead of spending hours placing every tree and rock, a dev could just tell AI, make a forest with a hidden cave, and it would just happen.
Exactly. And the results are incredible. AI can create realistic environments with tons of detail. It can even adapt the environment based on what the player does, making it feel super dynamic.
So AI is becoming like an essential tool for game devs, like a digital assistant that makes them more creative.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. AI is like a powerful collaborator. It takes human creativity and just amplifies it, pushing the limits of what's possible. And as AI gets better, we'll see even more sophisticated tools that will revolutionize game development.
That raises an interesting question. Is there a limit to what AI can do in gaming? Are we heading towards a future where AI makes entire games without any humans involved?
That's a great question. AI has come a long way, but it's still just a tool. And like any tool, it needs human guidance and creativity to really shine.
So it's not about replacing human devs, but giving them more power to create amazing experiences.
Exactly. AI can handle the grunt work, but it's the human touch, the artistic vision. That's what makes a game truly memorable. The future of gaming is all about this collaboration between humans and AI.
It's like a symbiotic relationship. AI and human creativity feeding off each other and leading to something really special.
I like that. And that's what makes this field so exciting. We're seeing a whole new era of entertainment where technology and imagination come together to create experiences that used to be science fiction.
Speaking of science fiction, let's talk about some potential future uses of AI in gaming. We touched on emotional AI earlier. I'd love to hear more about how that could change how we play games.
Imagine a game that can actually sense how you're feeling. Happy, frustrated, scared, even bored. And then imagine that game changing based on your emotions, like the difficulty adjusts, new challenges pop up, even the story changes based on how you react.
Wow, that would be so immersive. It'd be like the game is tailored just for you, responding to you in real time. I can see how that could lead to way more emotionally engaging stories.
Totally. Emotional AI could personalize games like never before. The game would react to your feelings, making you feel truly connected to the story and characters.
That's mind-blowing. A game that reflects you, adapting to your moods, giving you a unique journey. It really makes you think about what the future holds for AI in gaming.
For sure. It's a really exciting time to be a part of this. So many possibilities. It'll be fascinating to see what developers come up with as the technology keeps getting better.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've gone from simple ghosts in Pac-Man to the mind-blowing potential of emotional AI. But there's still so much more to explore. Let's take a moment to gather our thoughts, and we'll be right back to continue our journey into the incredible world of AI in gaming.
Yeah, it's amazing to think how far we've come. And we're really just getting started, you know? Before the break, you were talking about how emotional AI could make stories and games even better. Really, we should think about like what it means for the gameplay itself.
Exactly. We were talking about games adapting to how you feel in real time. It makes me wonder, what does difficulty even mean when the AI is constantly learning and changing? Could AI get so good that it's basically impossible for a human to win?
That's a really good question. I mean, part of the fun of playing games is overcoming challenges, right? That feeling when you finally beat a tough level or a boss. But what if the AI gets so advanced that those wins are like super rare?
It's kind of like a paradox, right?
Yeah.
You want a challenge, but if it's impossible to win, is it still fun?
Yeah, it's possible. But maybe this is a chance for game devs to rethink what difficulty and challenge really mean. Instead of just trying to beat the AI, maybe it's more about working with it, exploring, or even telling a story together.
So instead of seeing the AI as an enemy, you see it as a partner or a guide, even like a co-creator in the game.
Exactly. AI could help us make games that are less about winning or losing and more about exploring new ideas, being creative, connecting with others in meaningful ways.
That's a whole different way of looking at it. It changes everything. And speaking of connections, we've been talking a lot about the technical side of AI, but I'm also curious about the cultural impact. Like, how is AI changing the communities around games, how people interact, the stories they share?
Oh, it's having a huge impact. We're already seeing it with matchmaking systems, you know?
Hmm.
AI connects players from all over the world, creating these diverse online communities. It can also help with things like moderating chat, finding cheaters, even recommending games you might like,
So it sounds like AI is helping to make gaming more welcoming for everyone, no matter their skill level.
for sure. And as AI keeps getting better, it can create even deeper connections between players. Imagine AI tools that help people work together creatively or share their stories, maybe even encourage real friendships.
That's really cool. It shows that AI in games isn't just about making things harder or more realistic. It can actually bring people together.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, games are all about human connection. Sharing experiences, telling stories, building relationships. AI can make all that even stronger. It could lead to a future where gaming is even more inclusive, engaging, and meaningful.
I love that. Okay, we've talked about a lot of the positive stuff, but we should also talk about the challenges and ethical things we need to consider, right? How do we make sure AI is used responsibly in games?
You're right, that's super important. As AI gets more powerful, developers need to think about ethics every step of the way, from how they design the algorithms to how those algorithms affect the player's experience.
So it's like a balancing act. We want the awesome potential of AI, but we also need to use it fairly.
Exactly. It's a challenge, but it's one we need to face head on. The future of gaming and the future of AI are connected. We need to shape that future in a way that works for everyone.
Okay, let's get a little more specific. We've talked about the big picture, the future. What are some examples of AI being used in games right now? What are some of the most innovative things you've seen?
Oh, there's so much cool stuff happening. One area that's really interesting is how AI is personalizing the gameplay experience.
Personalization. Tell me more.
Imagine a game that changes its difficulty, the story, even what happens in the game, all based on how you like to play and what you prefer. Every playthrough would be totally unique.
That's amazing. It'd be like having a game made just for you. Are there any games doing that already?
Yeah. One example is Shadow of the Colossus. That game has this really cool AI system that controls the giant enemies,
Yeah.
you know, and those creatures aren't just mindless robots. They actually react to what you do in a realistic way. Every fight feels like this dynamic battle of wits.
I've heard of that game. It's known for those epic boss battles. It's wild to think that AI is playing such a big part in making those battles so memorable. What are some other examples?
Left 4 Dead is another good one. It's a zombie shooter. And it has this thing called the AI director, which changes the difficulty and how fast the game moves. It all depends on how well the players are doing.
So if you're doing really well, the AI director might throw more zombies at you or make the environment more dangerous.
Exactly. It keeps things fresh and unpredictable, so you're always on edge. It's a great example of how AI can make gameplay really dynamic and responsive.
It seems like AI is opening up so many new possibilities for game devs. It's not just about making games prettier or more complex, it's about making them feel tailor-made for each player.
Yeah, exactly. It's about making games more engaging, more immersive, more fun overall. And it's not just action games or adventure games either. AI is changing strategy games in really cool ways too.
Oh, tell me more about that. What kind of innovations are happening in the strategy games?
Well, one thing we're seeing is AI being used to create opponents that are more believable and challenging. In the past, AI opponents in strategy games were pretty simple. They followed basic rules that you could figure out if you played enough.
But you could learn their patterns and predict what they were going to do.
Yeah, exactly. It made the game feel less challenging after a while. But now, with machine learning, AI opponents can analyze tons of data. They can learn from how you play and adapt their own tactics.
So it's like playing against a chess grandmaster who's constantly getting better.
Exactly. And that makes it a lot more fun and challenging for strategy game fans.
Are there any specific strategy games that are doing really cool things with AI?
Civilization V is a good example. It's a super popular strategy game, and it's known for having a really deep and complex AI system. The AI opponents in that game make decisions that feel almost human. It makes the game a lot more challenging and rewarding to play.
Wow, it sounds like AI is blurring the lines between playing against a computer and playing against a real person.
It's getting closer all the time, and that's what's so exciting about this. AI is constantly pushing the boundaries, creating new possibilities, changing how we think about what a game can be.
We've talked a lot about how AI makes gameplay better, but we should also mention its impact on storytelling.
Oh, you're right. That's something people often forget, but it's super important. AI can create stories in games that are way more dynamic and engaging. Imagine a game where the story changes based on what you do, where the characters have real personalities, and the world around you feels alive and reacts to your choices.
That sounds incredible. It would be like stepping into a living story where you're not just watching, you're shaping what happens. Are there any games that are using AI like that to tell really good stories?
Detroit, Become Human is a good example.
Sure.
It's an adventure game that's all about the story. And it uses AI to create a story that branches out in different directions, with multiple endings. And how the story ends depends on the choices you make and what you do in the game. It's a great example of how AI can be used to tell really immersive and emotional stories.
It sounds like AI is giving game developers the tools to tell stories that are as complex and interesting as the ones we see in movies or books.
Totally. AI is blurring the lines between different types of entertainment. It's creating a world where interactive storytelling can reach a whole new level. And I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. As AI gets even better, we'll see even more innovative and groundbreaking uses of AI in storytelling.
It's clear that AI is having a huge impact on gaming, from how games are made to how we play them. And the most exciting part is this is just the beginning.
I totally agree. As AI technology keeps advancing, we're going to see even more incredible things in gaming. It's such an exciting time to be a gamer and to see how AI is changing everything.
I'm already getting excited. But let's take a quick pause to think about everything we've discussed. We've covered a lot, from personalized gameplay to AI storytelling, but there's still so much more to explore. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into the world of AI in gaming. Welcome back. It's been quite a ride so far, exploring AI in gaming, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We've seen how AI has evolved, from those simple rules in Pac-Man to creating these crazy personalized stories. And it's clear AI is like changing the game,
Oh.
literally.
It really is. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Before we took a break, we were talking about AI and storytelling in games. It's just wild to think that AI could give developers the power to make these dynamic narratives that change all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And with AI, those stories can be so much more complex.
Hmm.
It's not just about choosing between option A or option B anymore. We're talking about games where the whole world, the characters, even the ending can be different, all based on what you do in the game.
It's like you're not just playing a story, you're kind of writing it as you go, almost like you're part author, part player.
Exactly. And that leads to another interesting question. What does authorship even mean when AI can create stories? Does the AI become like a co-author or even the only author?
Whoa, that's a deep question. And it's not just about games either, right? It's
Yeah.
something we're seeing in music, in art, in all kinds of creative fields as AI gets better.
Yeah, for sure. It makes us rethink what it means to be creative and who gets credit for creating something. But it also opens up some really cool possibilities. Imagine working with an AI to write a story together. You could brainstorm ideas, the AI could suggest different plot twists, or even help you develop characters and dialogue.
It'd be like a true collaboration.
Wow.
And you could end up with stories that neither of you could have come up with alone.
Exactly. It's all about that synergy between human creativity and AI.
Something we haven't talked much about is how AI affects different types of games. We've talked about action games, strategy games, story-driven games, but what about things like sports games or simulation games?
Oh yeah, good point. AI is having a big impact on those genres too. Take sports games, for example. AI is making player movements more realistic, team strategies more sophisticated. Even the commentary is getting better, reacting to what's happening in the game in real time.
So it's not just about making the players look real, it's about making them act realistically too.
Exactly. And the same goes for simulation games.
Yeah.
AI can create really complex systems, whether it's traffic in a city building game or the environment in a virtual world.
It sounds like AI is making games more realistic and complex across the board, making them more immersive no matter what kind of game you like.
Totally. And it's not just about being realistic either. AI can also make games more unpredictable and chaotic, which can make them more fun and challenging. Think about roguelike games, for instance. They use procedural generation to create random levels and enemies, and that's all powered by AI.
Oh, yeah. I love that element of surprise in roguelikes. You never know what's going to happen next.
Exactly. That's one of the things AI does really well, creating those dynamic, unpredictable experiences that keep you coming back for more.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the good stuff, but we should also mention the potential downsides of AI in gaming, right? Like, what are some of the challenges or concerns we need to be aware of as AI keeps evolving?
Yeah, that's important. One challenge is making sure AI doesn't make games too easy or predictable. You know, as AI gets better at learning our habits and predicting what we'll do, it could end up taking away some of the fun and challenge. It's a tricky balance to get right.
Yeah, for sure. We don't want AI to ruin the experience. We want it to make it better. Developers need to find that sweet spot where AI adds to the challenge without making it feel unfair or impossible.
Absolutely. Another thing to think about is bias. If the data used to train the AI is biased, that bias can show up in how the AI acts in the game.
That's a really good point. We need to make sure the data used to train AI is diverse and fair, so we don't end up with games that reinforce harmful stereotypes or biases.
Yeah, definitely. It's crucial for developers to think about fairness and inclusivity when they're using AI.
Well, I think we've covered a ton of ground today. From the history of AI in gaming to how it can revolutionize storytelling and make games feel truly personal. As we wrap things up, I'm curious, what excites you the most about AI in gaming? And what are you most looking forward to in the future?
Hmm, that's a tough one. There's so much to be excited about. For me, it's the potential. We're still in the early days of AI.
Hmm.
We've only just started to see what it can do in gaming. I can't wait to see what the future holds. I think we'll see games that are even more immersive and engaging than ever before. Maybe even games that blur the lines between the real world and the virtual world, creating experiences that are just mind-blowing.
I'm right there with you. It's such an exciting time to be a gamer and to see how AI is pushing the boundaries of what games can be. And to our listener, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and gaming. We hope you've enjoyed exploring these ideas with us. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a fascinating topic, so stay tuned.